What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, and we are back at it again with another episode of the Hall of Game live stream. And you guys know what the Hall is about. We are here to discuss issues that affect African American men with regards to sometimes personal finance, right? We talk also about brothers who are career changers, brothers who are coming out of college, brothers who are maybe non traditional students. Everything you can think of, we address it for Black men in this particular live stream. It typically is a nightly live stream, so basically, we do that. We also come up with some real life, everyday advice that you might be going through. So everything is seen through the African American male lens on this show. So we want to welcome you. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, hit the bell, just chill out. If you're restreaming and listening to this, make sure that you like the video and comment. So today we have another topic by Dr. D, and we are talking about I'm the first successful Black man in my family. How do I handle this? It's going to be a very, very interesting show tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, brothers, for those people who are in the hall. Brother Gabe, brother Dr. D.
You going first, Gabe?
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gabe Bay here on YouTube. Pretty much engineering background, transition into consulting. I work as a senior consultant in industrial cybersecurity, and I do some real estate on the side. It's actually starting to replace my major joint. So, real estate, cybersecurity, engineering. I'm kind of like your guy, and I'm just here to just contribute to the Hall of Game. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And go ahead, Doc.
This is Dr. D coming again from South Carolina. Just here to help you brothers, get better and to make it through these turbulent times that we're probably going to face in the next couple of months. So that's where this topic came from.
All right. And guys, seems like YouTube is playing with the notifications. White man holding us back, but that's all right. We're going to still go forth anyway. Doc, I do appreciate the topic. Why are we talking about this tonight?
Well, as we were talking back behind the scenes, I've been doing some research on the economy, and I think it happened earlier, but we are now officially in a recession. And for those of you that can remember, about 12 years ago, we had a recession when the housing market burst. I was in college at that time, and I remember, man, people that had manufacturing jobs, which is big down here, they lost all of their jobs. Homes were foreclosed on, and we had a lot of other bad things happen. So there are a lot of Black men. You are the first one to go to the military. You're the first one to be an entrepreneur. You're the first one to get a trade. You're the first one to get a certification. And you're the first one to graduate college and make something of your life. So now you are the black sheep in the family because people ostracize you because you didn't want to spend your life working in a manufacturing facility. So now when everybody else is sitting at home getting their stimulus money, which is probably going to run out in the next couple of months or whatnot, you are able to continue to move forward, progress with your money, continue to get other jobs. And, like Gabe A was saying, he has real estate. So you have people with like Gabe A's background, my background, and O'Shea's background, and some of the other folks on the Hall of Game. This is not really affecting us like it's affecting everybody else because we work very hard and we were able to maneuver through things. But Black men, you're the successful one. So now that everybody else is losing their job and their finances are crunching, they're going to come to you. This can be very stressful. People psychologically could say, hey, we need you to give us money. They will try anything possible. So you're the first successful person in the family. And the thing is, we're just trying to help you to understand how to handle this and maneuver through the tough times that are about to be upon us.
Okay. All right. Gabe, what's your take on this, brother?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I've experienced a lot of this myself. I'm the youngest of three, and I wouldn't say I was the only or the first successful Black man in my family, but I think that over time, my success has surpassed the success of a lot of my siblings and the rest of my family members. Being able to pretty much travel all around the world for work and also on leisure, living in different places, I have surpassed the majority of pretty much all of my family members. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I've experienced is that they start looking at you different, right? You start having start looking at you a little bit different. Them older cousins who used to give you the $10 bill at the barbecue, they actually looking to get $10 from you. That other auntie or uncle that used to pick you up and take you to go get some food, they looking at you to pretty much fund the whole family when it concerns food. Like when the bill come, they looking down at you. And even your parents and your grandparents, they have more expectations for you to provide some financial contribution for the rest of the family. So I think that my major thing in this is that your family start looking at you a little different. You're not the youngest anymore. You looked at as, all right, for all the stuff that we did for you, you got to pay up now. So I want to kind of unpack that as we continue the conversation. So that's been my experience with the title for sure.
All right. Let me kind of I'll weigh in on this too. Let me just say that I am also a success in many ways of the Black community and a victim of the Black community. I don't mean by like white supremacy or anything like that. But what I do mean when I say that is that my parents were both first generation West Coast people. They moved from the South and at the end of the Great Migration with their families. Like some people moved to, whether it was Detroit or whether it was to the Midwest. Our family located to California. My mother was in Northern California. My father was in Southern California. And my family, did what they could to push me towards private education and things like that when I was younger. But at the same time, my family was very liberal as to what it is I should choose for myself going into a professional career. So be it if I wanted to do business, if I wanted to do, some elements of engineering or some elements of just, whatever, communication. My family was totally okay with however that was. So which means that while they did push me to certain places, the expectations of me were not very high. And I think that was because, a lot of African-American men in California at this particular time, just to make it past 21 or 25 or to have a job, that was considered to be a success. Well, the issue is that my older brother, he ended up becoming a teenage father and I didn't. So I was the person that was more willing to be a little bit more frugal, stay at home. And my brother went out and started a family, made a lot of money, but might necessarily have not managed it the best way. But the person who did do a little bit better, and I could have did better, was me. So all the things that I did to pull my life forward right now during this particular situation, which is coronavirus, even though I'm stuck in Africa, I find myself, I'm the person now that's that if somebody needs something, like, they'll call me, right? And that doesn't always happen. It rarely ever happens. But right now, I'm the person that, is in the most situation to help because I don't have a family, And I will say this, a lot of times when you exceed people's expectations, there's, it's like any NFL player. You're a 6th round pick like Antonio Brown, and you become a Pro Bowler. People expect a lot of production out of you. That's no different when you come from a family where you don't have a lot of lawyers and doctors. You a lot of times get punished for being a success and having dreams. Same thing with the taxes. You want to do well in America, you do great, perfect. Now you're paying 20% more tax than anybody else in America. I'm just giving it a number. So this is something that happens, and a lot of Black men that come from, like, let's say, poverty into first generational, let's say your family was poverty or lower middle class. And then all of a sudden you go into like upper middle class, right? That's like considered winning. Now you're like $80,000 and above a year or more. Many of us can do more. You got to face the fact that a lot of people don't have it. Like, I'm in Africa right now, obviously, right? Where like nobody has anything. And there are people like that depend on me. I almost feel like I'm Ugandan to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Just because people just don't have it. So that's the part that is crazy, because if you cut your family off, then don't get me wrong, you can cut people off, right? But then the new people that you're dealing with, a lot of times you don't know if these niggas are fake or phony, if they really have it like that. And, so it's very different for a brother, because, things are not set up for you. You have to set up for your own self, and then people need help. And the thing about it is, niggas always need help, right? Because they fuck their lives up. So I just want to add on to that, and we'll talk about a few things like how to get around some stuff and whatever. But what's up, Doc? You want to weigh in on that?
Well, yeah, in my family, my dad got drafted to the Vietnam War, and then he went and came back. He met my mom, and he did auto paint body repair for like 30 years. And my mom's a college graduate. My brother's a graduate. I'm a graduate. All of myself and my siblings, we all have advanced degrees, but I'm the only one that has a doctorate degree. Out of all the grandkids on both sides of the families, I'm the only one that went in further and got a doctorate degree. My mom's brother has a doctorate degree, but I'm the only grandkid out of all of us that went this far. And I know it's going to come with a lot of headaches. And I told my fiance that, because I tell her all the time, you don't understand. Because, okay, I'll tell you a story. At work, I got back to work. I went to work the other day. So I come around the big cubicle, and there's a big picture of this same picture on the screen on my cubicle. I sent them saying, hey, I finished school. They actually have it posted there, so everybody that walked by my cubicle can see it. So I took it down today. I said, oh my God. I'm like, people don't realize the stress that comes with that, because people are going to say, well, you have that. Well, you should know this. You should know that. And people don't realize success is good, but it's also a curse. And people expect too much from you, even at work. So when it comes to family, the first thing they're going to say, well, you went further than anybody else. I know you got the money, cuz I know you doing it like that. It's low-key hate, but they don't want to say it. So they figure you have the money, you can loan them anything. We were talking about that behind the before we came on, how your family treats you different. One of the other things you got to remember is, if you never met women and you got this success, all the women see is dollar signs. If these girls never met you, they're gonna try to trick you, try to do whatever. And a lot of black dudes gonna be like, man, O'Shea, she really like me. You're gonna be like, nigga, she only wants some money from you. Your ass your ass look like the back of a shoe. She don't.
Real talk.
So a lot of black men don't know how to distinguish lust from actual true likeness from women. And that's how a lot of us brothers get caught up having baby mamas, because they were like, man, I was feeling it. She was liking me and all this. And the thing is, black men, you got to learn how to handle that success, because when you get successful, you're not only going to have to worry about black women, you got to worry about non-black women. Women come whenever you are making it in life. We all three can attest to this. Whenever you start to make it up the ladder, it's not just black women that are coming at you. It's all nationalities. And the other nationalities, as I've expressed on the other streams, they're very aggressive. They're going to let it be known they like you and they want you. And a lot of brothers don't know how to handle that. And that leads to a big downfall.
Let me ask you, Gabe, how can you handle that? Like, coming as a brother, like coming from a lower class or a lower middle class, and you're like first generation of middle class or second, how do you deal with your efforts and your dreams coming into fruition, and then all of a sudden you kind of left people and sometimes friends, right? How do you deal with that?
Let me tell you how so a lot of time, and I always answer your questions like this. The best way that I've learned how to deal with things are how not to deal with things. So I kind of want to speak on an experience that I have done that I think a lot of brothers can use so that they don't fall down the same hole that I fell down. So I am working as a nuclear engineer at the time, right? So engineering, I guess salary or compensation windows, or I'm sorry, ceilings. They typically buy like top out at somewhere around six figures, right? Whether you're somewhere around that 80 or 90, you're typically somewhere around there, or maybe a little bit more than six figures for engineers, right? It's a good career, right? But it typically tops out. My experience was that when I had actually started to go into cybersecurity and started doing some contracting work, my first offer out of my engineering job was that of making $163K down in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I literally got the offer letter. I was so happy and so excited. Guess who I called like a dummy? I called mama and I called grandma. I'm excited about this offer that just hit my email, that I called them and I tell them how much the offer was for. I mean, this isn't just 163. This is also covering per diem. So they're covering my living expenses. They're covering the relocation package. I'm going from Detroit to North Carolina. Listen, I feel like I'm a made man at this point, but I went and told my family, my mom and my grandma. And at that point, I might as well had got a bullhorn and went downtown Detroit and told everybody what my offer was, because pretty much they just broadcasted to the whole family. So I think that the thing that I'm trying to communicate is that when you have reached a certain level of success, whether it's in career, whether it's in compensation, whether it's in anything, you might have bought a new house or something or got something, the first thing that you should do is to not tell the people who have the loudest voices in your family, the people who always on the phone telling somebody about the business of somebody else, or somebody who always on the phone like, "Ooh, guess who got pregnant, this and that and this and that," right? Don't tell those people. Actually, don't tell nobody. Keep it to yourself. So I think that the advice that I'm saying is don't broadcast it to your family when you think that you've come to a certain level of success. And so that's, I think, the first piece I want to hit. Yep.
There's also a website y'all can visit too. It's called rebuildanigga.com.
Yep.
And it'll help you rebuild your life to where you don't end up in these circumstances, because your family will set you up. And, you know, making 163, I live about 2 or 3 hours from Charlotte, man. That's very good money, because you could have moved to Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is 25 minutes away from Charlotte, and you didn't even have to live in Charlotte.
Yep.
You could have been.
I live right there. Let me tell you, I live right there in Charlotte. I think my rent was what, $750?
Yeah.
I was living a life, and I even was able to negotiate, because I had property in Detroit. I was able to negotiate them covering a flight ticket between Charlotte and Detroit, back and forth. And like a dummy, I told my family all of this stuff. I told them everything. I told them everything.
You know, one thing, when you become successful, your family shouldn't even know your schedule. They shouldn't even know where you work. I wouldn't invite them to my house. If they ask where you live at, man, you know I'm trying to set that up. Always play broke around your family, because never look like you got it. Oh, one of the worst things we do, we get on Facebook, cause gave them over there in Dubai. An average person knows Dubai is not cheap to go fly to. So
literally 2 years ago, me and my wife, we literally went to Bali. We went to Bali, and then it was this rumor that we just out here spending all types of money. So that's another thing. Don't advertise your success on social media, especially when all your family members are your followers. Because I had one cousin talking about some, I guess because you get a little money, you run around, want to show everybody know your whole life. I'm like, all right, blocked. Because the thing is that like now there's like rumors and everything spreading around the family, like it's not even necessary. Don't advertise it to your grandma and mama, and don't advertise it to social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, you want to weigh back on that, on Dr. D? Or?
Well, what Gabe A is saying is true. You mess up by the thing is, a lot of black men like, I want to share, this is for the whole family. This is what everybody went through all these trials and tribulations for. Their hard work paid off, and my hard work paid off. I want to share it with the family. You can't do that with your family. Your family will set you up to get robbed because
it's true though.
they will set you up to get robbed because everybody got that close cousin that like, man, I knew this cat since he was 13, man. I know all his weaknesses and strengths. He'd text me and say, hey, man, can you go by and check the mailbox? Next thing you know, your house get broken into. And we don't realize how envious family members are. You don't realize it till you get older because what you got, I'm 36. So everybody in my family in this generation is between about 32 to about 45. So we're close in age. What people don't realize is you get older, what I did, I saw what my cousins was doing. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to even know. I don't even want to go the path they're going. I'm going to do something different. And you can learn a lot from your family members on what not to do in life to get stuck. I can tell anybody that. Observe what they're doing. If they're doing something good, follow it. If they're not, completely take a different path. So your family will make those mistakes and then say, man, you know what? You ain't had to struggle. Your family set you up and stuff, man. You like, that ain't my fault. You shouldn't have been chasing Lolo Keisha out here, as O'Shea say. You shouldn't have been out here. You shouldn't have been out here smoking weed. You couldn't get a job because you had dirty piss on every drug test. Everybody, the thing I know about a lot of black families, we all can attest to this. There are a lot of smart black men in each family. They waste their lives away doing stupid stuff. And when they get older, they're going to look back and regret it because everybody in my family has a lot of bright people. These people are intelligent, and you wonder, why aren't you further where you're supposed to be? They get older, and they're like, they envy you because you did what they wanted to do. Instead of you talking about it, you actually put feet to pavement, as they say, and you went and did it. So your major obstacles to overcome is going to be family once you know you're successful, because like Gabe was saying, it travels like wildfire. And I remember O'Shea saying he told his mom, don't tell nobody I'm in medical school. Because the first thing people hear, oh man, that cat make a lot of money. Cause ask him for $10,000 or $15,000. Huh? For what? You gonna they don't ask for a minor number. They gonna say, oh shit, I know you got 15 grand. You can own that too. That in a week.
Right.
And they want to open a liquor store or car wash. That's all they want to do with it.
That literally happened to me. I had an uncle, still, well, he didn't go nowhere, still got an uncle who is let's just say he's a struggling musician, right?
Okay.
And I guess he has some type of name around the Detroit area, but he don't make any. I mean, the struggling musician title is literally people who play instruments don't make money really in this type of field or this type of economy. So he literally was hitting me up asking for $10,000 or $15,000 in order for him to buy some instruments for him to sell. I'm like no, just no. And you got to be respectful because that's your elders. I mean, I guess you don't got to be respectful, but that was the way that I was brought up. Like, you got to be respectful. So, I just respectfully said no. And every time he see me and talk to me, he's trying to get me to invest in something else. And, no shade to him, but I'm just like, no, I got my own goals as it concerns my financial goals. And those goals don't involve investing in your instrument selling business. So just like you say, Dr. D, $10,000, $15,000 they think they want to get from you. But hey, no, just no. That's another thing, brothers. Say no. Just say no. Crazy.
Let me also share this. Okay, I want to just throw this game in there because you have a lot of black men that want to live like, let's say, overseas, right? Because there's this big push from some guys like, man, I gotta get out the matrix, man. I gotta get out the matrix. So you move from, let's say, the United States to Ghana, to Tanzania, to Kenya, Uganda, or most people is like, Brazil or someplace like that. Now, if you're going to like, United States to Germany, United States to Poland, United States to places like that, it's not so much of a problem, right? But you can still come across blacks that are still there that are doing a lot worse than you. Because you got to remember, like if you go from like America to Poland, for example, like the average person in Poland, like if you make $25,000 a year, that's considered good. The immigrants who are working there are making like $8,000 a year, like really bad. So then you're the guy that makes like $100,000 a year, then it's even worse, right? I think also we gotta realize is not. I've learned this being in Uganda. I have very little friends here, and the reason is like there's a white guy I know. He's been living here for like 8 years, and he can speak like several different languages, but he gets caught up with loaning people money, right? And because he does that, and he's always kind of struggling. And even when you're a person that expats to a new place, a lot of times we gotta understand that, okay, the same reasons why maybe we left our families or moved to a different state, we didn't move to a different state to encounter the same problem again or go to a new country to encounter that again, right? A lot of us have moved from where we're from. I don't think anybody that's on the podcast, except for Dr. D, most brothers move to get away from their current environment for lack of opportunities or whatever. But just understand that when you come to a new place, I've noticed that even people don't have money, and they're gonna ask you for it, right? Now it's not as bad as your own family, but see, people can then become your extended families, right? And that's another thing. When you make friends and close friends, stuff like that, business friends, a lot of us spend more time at work, let's say, for example, than you spend at home. These people become your new family. And then just like family, they're going to get comfortable enough to ask you that. But I think also as being a successful black man, you got to understand there's a few things. Friends are less and less. Okay. There's a lot of lonely nights. All right. And then, you really, your friends that you might make, a lot of times successful black guys are married. That's one of the downfalls, right? Broke people are always there to hang out with. Successful black guys, man, a lot of them are married or engaged, or, you just can't hang out with them like that all the time. So, but broke people are always available to hang out with. That's the fact. If they don't have money, they're always there. And typically they're there because they have nothing to do. So, we got to always understand that. And another thing too, is a lot of black men have success guilt. You know how the whites are right now with this whole liberal movement with the Black Lives Matter. These whites are sorry for being white. A lot of brothers are sorry for being successful. It's not your fault that you became successful. Like, we got to stop that. You shouldn't have to pay a price because you're successful and other people are not. A lot of people try to make you feel like that. Like, and we got to understand as black men, people don't look at us as leaders or providers. Now, a lot of that is our fault. A lot of that is what people want to relegate us to. All right. So when you become a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, it's not that you should be leading people. People just think that you're just a resource. Like, give me money, give me access, and hook me up. And, we got to stop feeling guilty about being successful. That's just really what it is. We have to stop feeling guilty about that. Everybody has 2 hands, 2 feet, a mind and a way to think. And, a lot of times as black men, we just have to say, look, this is what you need to do. And blaza, blaza. I can help you, but I'm not going to help you. Fuck you. And this is the reason why I'm not going to help you, because you need to be able to do this. People are going to get mad and get offended. But I'm going to tell you what, when you're giving your money to them and when you need help, they're not going to be able to help you. Okay. People actually
directly. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What'd you say? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think that point goes directly with that whole, I think it was a basketball player. I forget his name. He was saying that as soon as he got his first NBA check, he started to take care of his family and everybody. And then he was talking to a white basketball player, and that basketball player, and he asked him, "Hey, did you take care of your mom?" And he said, my mom take care of herself. Her husband pays for those things. And I think that just goes with your point that we are not a resource for the hood. We are literally people who are successful and have our own goals to try to generate generational wealth rather than just being a resource for the whole entire hood. So, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you though.
No. Let me build on that. Shout out to Grown Man Business and Tony Davis. Let me just build on that. One of the things that's even the same thing happening in South Africa, because, obviously since South Africa became ANC ran since 94, there has been a big explosion of blacks coming from the lower class into what is the middle class in South Africa. And the biggest thing that separates the black middle class and the white middle class is the fact that the blacks families are poor, right? And I can get that. I understand why black people are poor and have less money. We understand that. Like, I understand that white people and things that are in place keep blacks behind. That's true. No doubt about it. And I understand the need to want to help your people. But here's a situation too. We also have to give our people as brothers resources that they can be able to help themselves, right? And a lot of times giving resources, because giving money to somebody is a bad idea, but I can give you a resource. Here's a school that's going to be going on. Here's the career you need to go to. Here's what you can do to do this or that, right? And I think as black men, we try to solve everybody's problems by just giving money. And money is a problem that people don't have, but people need to acquire what can maintain them. Skills, okay, the networks. These are the things that people need. And if people are not trying to do that, those people don't deserve any money. A lot of times what we do is, and I'm going to let it go from here, we find ourselves trying to support people. NBA players do this the best, right? Simping for your family. They're giving money to people who don't want to do anything. That's a big problem. If you're going to give money to somebody, give money to somebody who's going to do something. Some people who want to do something. I don't mind helping people who are trying to do something, and it's something like that. But if they don't want to work, if they don't want to do anything, this is the issue that we're going to be having. Shout out to Getting Too Old for this, for the $2 Canadian super chat. So, Dr. D, you want to go ahead and weigh on that? Anybody want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know how I first met you, Oshie. I talked about automation, and I know the black community is at a disproportionate rate. And I don't even talk to black folks about it, because I was telling somebody at somebody's house, they're like, this Negro think robots gonna take over the world. I'm like, it's about to happen. So I told people, if I were to go tell the same group of non-black kids this information, do you know their parents would bombard me and say, what field do I need to get my kid in so that they have a job in the future? Mm-hmm. We don't want to listen to that kind of information. You're hearing Gabe A could tell you, hey, man, you need to go into cybersecurity. O'Shea could say, man, because O'Shea from his field is going to school to be a medical doctor. There is a huge vacancy of medical doctors right now. Mm-hmm. They need black male. A male nurse can make a killing.
Yeah.
And you could become a travel nurse, man. There are nurses now, man, that go from South Carolina. They pay them per diem. They go to California. They go to Texas. They said they'll do an Airbnb. We talked to one lady, and she said, man, I get about $56 an hour. And I just do this every 2 to 3 months. And
my wife, before she jumped into her master's program, she was a travel nurse. She did a stint in Dallas. She did a stint in Michigan. She also worked in Pittsburgh. So yeah, it can be very lucrative, right? And beyond what a normal nurse's salary is.
Yep. And we won't listen to that information. Like O'Shea, you were saying, we're not giving money. We're trying to give you information to prepare you for this is what's coming in the future. Right. These are the jobs that can help make you a middle-class person. Speaking of that, how the economy is about to go and how the world is about to go, there's not about to be a middle class. It's going to be who has it and who doesn't, because the middle class is shrinking every day. And if you don't get on the bandwagon on how to invest in real estate, how to have some property, or have the proper skill set, you're going to be left out. And we are providing information. I completely agree with O'Shea. Say handing out money doesn't solve it. But when we're telling you these are the skill sets, and see, we are a minority. Right now, schools will say, hey, I'll give you a scholarship because you're a minority to come here to do this. You can almost go to school for free right now if you get with the right group of people. But nobody will take heed of this information and use it. In it's 2020, 5 years from now, we can all reconnect to talk about this and say, hey, y'all, remember all that stuff we was talking about in 2020? Nobody listened to it. And now they're even poorer than what they started before. And I just don't understand why I don't understand why our community does not believe the information coming from the horse's mouth. Because I work out in the field every day. I see how people are treated. I see how jobs are going away. And this pandemic has showed people of all races how companies don't even care about nobody, because they will send you home and eliminate you. You know, one lady I was talking to the other day said, if a company told me as an executive they willing to lay me off, that shows me that they don't care about me. You know, the first thing I'm doing, I'm putting in my application for other jobs. And to stay successful, Black men, what you need to realize, once you get one job, you don't need to get complacent. You need to be looking for other jobs. Have your foot in that job and looking for other stuff, because a job is supposed to be a means to get you to where you can do what you want to do. Because as the old saying goes, you got to do what you need to do so you can do what you want to do. In our community, we do what we want to do. And then when we get about 45 or 50 and saying, man, what I need to do now, man, to get my life in order. Do you 50 years old? Do you know? I know it's age discrimination, but places don't like to hire people at once they get a certain age, because they're like, man, they only gonna be here 10 or 15 years, if that. Right. So we just have to listen to the information that's coming and look, take it and use it. Because I already seen GMB, what's his name? The Grown Man Business put in the comments. He said, man, the lack of people not listening to this, he said that's a true statement. Because if we were talking about chicks and stuff, man, it would be 400 or 500 people in here like, yeah, man, I have me a big booty Keisha and I pull Hennessy on all that. So, you know, the thing is, I just don't understand it. We're giving valuable information that people would charge you hundreds of dollars for to help make it.
Let's say this real quick. You know, a lot for it, and a lot of times we complain about. And I think you're right, but let me just say this. I'll be very brief. I have the mentality that we got to stop caring about those people who are not interested in certain topics like these. We got to be more interested in those who do care. And let me say this: the most important thing that we can do as Black men, especially that see that we have a problem in our families, is if we love our families, then what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make a solution. And some people can follow the solution or they cannot, right? And one of the things that you need to do is stepping up in leadership is making a change. When I look at my family, like, okay, I need to be the CEO of my family. I need to make these changes. The family isn't running, or the family business isn't running well. So then what I'm going to do is I need to bring more resources to my family to do better. And one of the things that we can do, and I know it's hard because we can complain, right? But what we can do is, with what we see what's going on, I talked about it last night on the Sunday Rumble. We need to, if we know that our people are not good at manufacturing, we know if our people are not good at engineering, if our people are not good at STEM, then it's up to us to try to outsource and create the program that can get people as a bridge, especially young Black men or people in our family. Like I did, I was weak in, math and, trigonometry, pre-cal, calculus, tutoring. I did those things in general physics, heat mechanics, electricity, and magnetism. I took that, right? I went to the tutoring program. I went to the resources. The resources were there. So I think what we need to do is, a lot of times, for those people who are interested, a lot of people are not going to be interested. Forget them. Then we need to be the bridge to create the resources for our people that are interested. Because there are a lot of people who are not interested. And for those people who are not interested, good luck to you. That we need to stop wasting our time trying to save those people who are not interested. Let me tell you something about this. Being in Black YouTube and caring about African Americans and caring about the community. This is a lonely road. All right. I put my heart and soul into a lot of my content, especially these shows. If you look for every day to be disappointed with Black people in social media, you can be. Right? You can be very disappointed. When you see other people's streams that do good and stream like that doesn't do that good, you can look for any reason to be disappointed. And it can discourage you. I'm not discouraged. What I'm seeing is 102 people that are here. So if you are the first successful Black person in your family, then you are the example. And people have to come up to where you are, or they have to leave. Okay. And they don't have to be a doctor like you. They can be a truck driver. They can be in manufacturing. They can do something, but they need to work. All right. And that's the mentality that you set for yourself and the people in your family. You have to work. You have to work hard. OK. And these are the resources that we can do to get you here or there. But that's what every other immigrant group does. When a Nigerian American brings over his family, they come with the idea is you're coming over here to work. OK, the Indians, you're coming over here to work. There's no difference. And I think that we need to start focusing on people that want to be here, and people that don't want to be here, then they can leave. That's it. We got to stop complaining about these people who don't care. Get them out of here. They don't want to be here. Fuck them. All right. We got to do this. A lot of people in the Black community you can't work with. A lot of African Americans we can't work with. We love our people. We can't work with them. Some people we just can't work for them. This conversation is not for everybody. For those people you can work with, that's who we're talking to. And that's it. If they don't get it, they don't get it. And it's nothing to be mad or upset with them about. And to the people may not be woke right now. But in the meantime, in between time, it's our job to be connected to, let's say, if we're working with HBCUs that have engineering programs, we have programs that have, STEM, programs that have pharmacy, medicine school. We get our people in the situations by working with people who have the same mindset. Let's work with them and build.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's the only solution. Stop worrying about the rest of these niggas that don't get it. I'm sorry, but that's where we need to be at. Go ahead.
Yep. No, absolutely. Like I absolutely agree with that point. And even really, I mean, it goes directly along with the title. Like if you're the first successful Black person or one of the first successful Black people within your family, I think that you are obligated to be the example to those individuals within your family. Show them what putting in work on a consistent, continuous basis means, right? Show them what the results of that is. I have a younger cousin. He's in college right now. He's majoring in computer engineering. I mean, every single chance I get, I'm sending him an internship opportunity, something as it concerns some training that he probably wants to do. I'm asking him questions about what he wants to do in the future. I literally sent him a job application for an internship for my organization on my team, and he asked, and he never responded back. So I mean, I think that giving that opportunity is something that adds something to the family. Whether they take that opportunity or not, just as you mentioned, is up to them, because I can't force anybody to do anything. And even certain things, right? Even though he might not be responsive to it, I'm also applying to speak at different conferences and giving myself as a resource for the greater Black community, like NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers. This year, I applied to speak at this conference, right? Think about it. My manager, my director had never ever even heard about NSBE before. Never heard about National Society of Black Engineers. And I pushed to be able to have a spot at that conference, because anytime I travel and speak at anything, my organization covers the flight, they cover my food, they cover anything else, paraphernalia I get, you name it, they cover it. And the thing about it is that I'm like, yo, I want to speak at this conference. I know that we don't have a presence here. We have never had a presence at this conference, but I would like to recruit and speak at this conference. And my director was saying, hey, that is absolutely admirable, because I didn't know anything about it. If it's something that you're passionate about, go ahead and go forward and do it. I mean, I got all types of funding to go to this conference, T-shirts and all types of little things that I can give away as I'm there. Only Black person in my group, probably the only Black person in the company that is willing to speak at this Black engineering conference. And I think that, just as you mentioned, that is our contribution, being the example and presenting ourselves as resources to the community and to our families. I think that is something that I absolutely should and must do. And I know a lot of brothers in this space, they don't like marriage. They don't like this whole idea of Black couples and Black families. But I think that even that is a display to not only our families, but to the world, right? Because the world says Black people don't get married. Black men are baby daddies. Black mothers are just ratchet and trash, right? If I walk into an establishment with my wife and one day our little future kids, we are an example of Black success. And that means something. That means something to the greater society and to family, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of our relationships in divorces. So I just don't mean to be long-winded, but my whole point is be a resource and be an example to your family and to your community. That's one of the best contributions that you can give to those groups. And that's all I got to say about that.
Let me just do a shout out to Brother Daryl Stevens. It's tough when you graduate college and get called a Joe College and corny, but your cousins does 3 to 5 and get a block party.
Yeah.
ASOG, get live stream. Thank you for perfectly confident. We need that information. Let me just say one thing before we go, Dr. D. Guys, stop caring about that. Okay, listen. I know this stuff goes on, right? Let me tell you something. Smart people rule. Okay.
Yep.
And that's just what it is. Smart people, and it doesn't mean you have to have a college degree. Doesn't have to mean anything. Intelligent people rule the world. Okay. Intelligent people rule the black community. Just happen to be white. So here's what you got to do. Don't worry about that. Worry about the other people that you can work, you can grow with, grow the black male brand with, do things with. We got to stop worrying about those things. Stop worrying about what people give Pookie and Ray Ray and all of that, because it'll just hold you back. Don't worry about that. Worry about the people that are like you. And if we worry about that, then we're fine. I don't care if it's a brother that's a truck driver and their brother just got out of the jail. If the brothers that want to work and do what we're talking about, those are the people that we're talking about. We're not talking. Forget those people who worried about 3 to 5. Fuck them. Don't worry about them, because if you do that, you'll always find a way to be disgruntled. And we don't have no time to be disgruntled. Let's worry about what we are doing and not worry about what nobody else is doing. Forget them. Definitely good on them. What we're doing is we worry about what we're talking about. Go ahead. Thank you for 20 times. Go ahead, Dr. D.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've taken that path. I don't worry too much. For one thing, I don't worry about what people say anymore. I've been stopped doing that a while ago, because if you worry about what people say, it'll definitely hold your life back. But yeah, as we move forward, I try to help who I can. I've been trying to get this. I've been working on trying to speak at schools before the coronavirus happened. That was one of the things, to start with kids while they're younger, to tell them, hey, here's a professional black male, you can do the same thing I'm doing. Yep. But the coronavirus put a damper in that, because I like to go talk to people about, life. One of the things, when I do talk about stuff at work, I don't just talk about the process. I talk about life and what gets you here and the trials and tribulations, you're going to go through to get here. But I like to talk, and I'm more than willing to share my knowledge with people. But I've been taking that approach. I just don't worry about people. Told my fiance we just can't worry about people anymore. And she fussed at me. Well, we got into an argument. She said, you have no sympathy. I said, let me tell you something. If one of us falls short and they lay us off our job, nobody's going to have pity on you. I said, you got to remember that. The world is very vicious. I said, just like we're in the position, there are millions of people fighting to be in our position. And that should keep you motivated to keep moving forward, because it's scary out there. We've all been broke before. We've all, not been successful and kept trying. But I tell her all the time, you got to remember, help who you can, and people will. It's sad to say people pray for your downfall. We know that happens. But I say, you got to keep moving forward. Well, they won't like this. I said, well, we decided what we were doing for our wedding. I'm like, I don't care if they don't like it or not. If they don't come, they don't come. I said, it's paid for. I'm going to take care of it. I said, we're going to move forward in life. And this is how we're going to do it. But I said, I'm not about to worry and try to worry about pleasing people. That's one good thing. I think that's the saying about a leader. You cannot be a good leader if you're trying to please everybody. So I just move forward and speak about things and try to help people, understand that no matter what your circumstances are, you can pretty much move forward and do what you have to do.
I mean, even if that somebody is mama, right? Because you can't always please mama. The thing about it. Because the thing about it, let me tell you what the biggest issue, especially in my relationship with, in my life with my mother has been. And I think that is something that or the majority of black mothers have for their black sons, is that this whole idea that you owe me something. Like, I think that a lot of mothers had that type of mentality, that because I quote unquote brought you into this world, I done helped to raise you, I done raised you, you owe me something for the rest of your life. Like, it's an unpayable debt. Like, this is debt that go beyond student loans. This is debt that go beyond mortgages and car loans and everything, like Lionel Young was speaking about yesterday, right? This is debt that is unpayable. For the rest of your life, you owe your mom. And that's the mentality that a lot of times we have within the black community. And I would like to say and start off by saying, you don't owe anybody anything, including your mom. You don't owe anybody anything. You didn't choose to be here. You didn't choose to conceive yourself. What your mother or what your father was doing is that they took care of their responsibility in raising you, and they did a good job, right? Love them for it, but don't feel like you owe them anything in life. If you give them something, if you provide something for them, it's out of the kindness of your heart. That's just all. So you don't owe anybody anything, including your mom.
Let me just say this too. One of the things that, because one of the things that we forget is, let me say this. I know I'm long-winded, but okay, they have now in the NBA, right? In the NBA or NFL, once you get drafted, whether it's by the draft or a free agent and you become a rookie, the NBA and the NFL, what they do now is the first week before you go to the playbook and stuff like that, they have mentorships in these league unions, right? The NFL's player union, NBA's player unions. And what do? They talk about, they warn the players how to spend your money, right? How to invest, how to stay away from, they take rookies through the business side of football, right? The NFL and the NBA, this didn't happen before. But what ended up happening was they saw that so many players were being broke. So the NFL and the NBA addressed it when they bring these mentors in the NFL, in the NBA, to keep players as healthy as they can, to keep the brand represented. I said it to say this. A lot of us as Black men, we don't look for the mentorship because a lot of us I know some brothers that are just so good academically. They're very, very bright. Some people can pick up things. They're if you take the physics test, right? And, this is the guy that gets the 90 and the class average is 46. And the issue with that is academia and life is two different things. So you might think like, wow, I'm a very smart person, but, you don't understand that, a lot of times you don't understand life. Like, that's just what it is. We need to look at getting the mentorship, right? Sometimes you might not be able to even get it from your own family or your own race, but we need to try to seek out people that have been in situations. So like if you know an African-American doctor, it's a good chance, because a lot of African-American doctors typically come from two-parent homes, but it's a good chance he might be able to relate to you in some other way. We need to seek out mentorships, brothers. Like, for example, Antoine Wade is an MBA that came up under a lot of circumstances that we came up under. And he's dealt with things like this. This is why we need to seek our own resources. And that's what people that are successful there do. Billionaires, everybody gets these type of things, right, to help them cope with stuff. And we're no different. In fact, I think African-American men, we need mentorship more than other people. And another thing that we can do is be around more successful Black people. The other day, I went to Kabira Country Club. And one of the things that I did was I got a membership package, right, to see how much it costs. And it was like, although I'm not going to be here for the whole year, when I come back, I'm going to pay. It's like $2,000 a year. And somebody wants to know, well, why do you pay that much money a year to be? Well, because I'm going to pay to be around people that are doing much better things or similar things than me. So we also got to pay the price to be around other people that are like that. We talk about it all the time, even with digital creators, people that are content creators, people who have small electronic businesses. Where do you find them at? They go to co-working spaces. They pay a fee to go to co-working spaces to have access to these resources. And that's one thing that we can do. You need to be around the energy of other people. And what I've noticed is, I've been in Kampala, and when I was in the States, there's always something going on. There's nothing like the energy of the USA, the business energy, the keep going energy. There's nothing like it. When you come to Poland or you come to Africa, that energy is not like that, right? Because people are not as motivated here as we are in the States. So another thing is we need to keep those people, we're motivated. We need to be around those people who are also motivated. Being around people who are like you and who have that efficiency, that time management, those things count. And a lot of times we can get around the idea that, I'm Black, I'm successful, I'm doing so much better than everybody else. But then you lose a part of yourself. I've been talking to this guy who's a very successful tech entrepreneur in the 90s. And I seen him in magazine covers, and he's here now. And he lost a lot of himself by just acclimating to the people here that are not like him. So, and he becomes more like them. The thing about Black men that are successful is we need to re-energize that fuel tank, and being around people all the time that are motivated like you is a number one way to do that. And one of the reasons why I do this podcast is not necessarily for you guys all the time, but it's for myself. I know that when I'm talking to the guys, they're doing something every day. When I email Gabe and he's doing something, I can't go on because I'm doing this and that. I'm like, oh, it's a reminder to me that I need to be on my shit. And one of the things that you can do as a successful Black person is be around successful people. A lot of times they might not be Black, right? But the thing about it is you got to keep this energy up. Okay, you got to keep this energy up. Now, I know what we're talking about now is creating a space for more successful Black men, which that's coming within time. But the overall gist of what we're saying is, you may hang out at the country club now. All right. You may start golfing or something. You may be at the design hub, or you might be at a co-working space. But these are things that you should pay for to keep you in the light that, what, people are doing things. I need to still do these things every day. And you want to be around that because, when you come out of college, you're not in college is not like the real world. In the real world in college, people are young, people are cramming for exams, people are whatever, staying at 24-hour library, finals week, cumulative college exams. The real world's not like that. When you get out in the real world, people are lazy. Yeah. And you can lose yourself. Right? Once you get that degree or a master's degree, and now you're working in real life with everybody who's not like you, and then you can do one thing. They're going to come to your level or you're going to come to theirs. Family the same way. Most people are not going to come to your level. You're going to go down to theirs. So you have to make the extra effort to be around those people who want to do stuff every day. That's why I show up here every day, no matter. But you know what, Gabe? I'm committed to showing up to here every day. Even if it's 5 or 4 in the morning, I cut my alarm on. I'm here every day because it's a part of my life now, right? It's a part of what I'm trying to do. So we got to understand that the one thing about being a successful Black man is just getting around other people that are like that so that we can keep creating opportunities for ourselves, creating networks for our communities. We have to be in that mindset to do so. So, Dr. D?
Yeah, I agree. I agree too. Yeah, that's a very powerful thing. You have to get around like-minded people. A good example is the guy that recommended me, the program that I took at Robert Morris, the DSC, the Doctor of Science program. The same guy got his degree from there. The Black guy got the same degree from there in 2009. And he told me when he taught me, he said, Mr. Dix, if you ever want to get your doctorate degree, I recommend this school. Contacted him 2 years later. This man has sent about 10 to 12 Black men through this program because there's a couple of guys in the cohort behind me that know about the program because of him. So there are men that are there that'll help you. And I talked to him and he gave me some great advice about the adjunct faculty stuff the other day. So it is good to have mentorship of different races too, to have men and, not just Black men too, have men of other races. I learned stuff from Indian men, white men, I learned it from everybody and try to apply it in my life. But you got to be thirsty for knowledge and you want to get better. Because I was coming home today and I was just thinking, I was driving from work. So how can I continue to get myself better and not get complacent and not just fall short? Because at the end of the day, the casket that all of us fit in is the same size. And I said, none of those accolades matter, once you leave this world. So I said, I need to leave a mark on the world that is unforgettable, something that's always talked about. And I'm digging deeper, trying to find a way to say, how can I continue to get better? Now, I've always talked to my fiance. I said, money and power and influence. I said, we've been talking about this. I want to influence the next generation. I want to influence people to be better because from teaching classes, I've realized a lot of students do not have any support from their family. They'll say, I'm doing this on my own. And it's very sad. So I motivate the students and they'll write me they'll write me emails saying, hey, thank you, Mr. Dix, for helping me out. And I think about what long-lasting impact can I do? How people have helped me out. What can I do to make the world better? And how can I continue to push forward and not get complacent and not get caught up? Because it's easy to get complacent, as you were saying, O'Shea, about the other guy saying, well, this is always going to be here. Just as hungry as you are, there's somebody else working 10 times harder than you. And you can just never get comfortable. You always have to yearn for more knowledge and continue to want to get better.
Yeah, what's your take on that, Gabe?
No, absolutely. I agree with all the points that you brothers are putting out there. Really, and with that point that Dr. D just brought up, the whole idea of making long-lasting impacts. And I think that we talked about this too before, O'Shea, is that wherever you go, as a successful black man, you should have a positive influence on that place. That place wherever it is, physically or a boardroom or even at home, if you're there, things should be different. Things should change as a result of you being there. And I think that that's something that I really talk about all the time with my wife. Like, we'll literally be sitting down and just having brainstorming sessions and talk about the future and what we really desire to do and contribute, especially to where we come from, right? In certain Black spaces, in certain of these Black spaces on YouTube, anytime people say something crazy about Detroit, man, I'm all up on them. I'm on that neck because they got all types of because we, like, me and my wife, like, we have a very, very big heart for the city of Detroit, and it's really on its way back. And we really want to be a part of that. We want to be a part of that change, about that resurrection of the city that we were born and raised and grew up in. So I'm very defensive about my city, but we always talk about having a long-lasting and positive effect within that city. Just being an example and just being leaders, starting up mentorship programs, starting different businesses, and really putting Detroit on the map again. So, just having that long-lasting impact and that long-lasting effect on anywhere that you are is another thing that you can do as one of the first successful Black men in your family. Make a change. You don't have to just make a change within your family, but I think it's really important for us to make a change in the world.
Right. It's okay, and not to get my brag on or anything, but I just want to talk about what you were saying as far as making a change, right? And for some of you guys that saw my struggle wood thing, that was, even though it was funny, right? I thought it was funny, but the situation was, when I came to Africa, that was one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to leave my, I didn't know anybody when I first came here to Uganda. I wanted to create social media content, and I wanted to, basically try to unite people from the diaspora to the States. And I wanted to leave my mark in East Africa. And that's what brings me here. And whatever I try to do, I try to make a change and try to trendset something, and that's what you're seeing right now with Strugglewood, right? It's funny and it starts off small, but we have to, as men, we are problem solvers. A lot of times Black men just become you point out problems a lot. Black men are really good at pointing out the issues that we have or issues everybody else has, but very, very few times can you solve the issues, right? And that's what God has blessed a lot of. And we focus too much on the issues that we have. We focus too much on other stuff. But how about you think about solving the issues, right? Because that's what think tanks do. Everybody has think tanks but Black men. I want you to understand that. The Jews have it. Certain LGBT groups have it. I'm not sure if Black women have it, but I'm pretty sure that they have groups that help them do things. And those people, when they get together to solve their problems for their people, they don't get together and they complain about what's going on. That's what think tanks don't do that. What think tanks do is think tanks come out with the solutions for a group or for a certain group of people or certain causes. And this is what people do, right? And Black men are no different. When we get Black men together, what Black men want to do? Black men want to complain about how shit is always so fucked up. And then we want to get together and then we leave. No. There's a lot of opportunity out there in Black America, right? There's lots of opportunity in Africa. And some people have been reaching out to me just off that one little film. I didn't think it was that important, but you know what? It just goes to show us that we have opportunities if we just create them for ourselves. And if we start to do that, man, we're so powerful. We're a very bright group of men. And we really need to understand that you make your mark on the world by solving the problems, not complaining about the problems that are there. We know that the problems are there. Okay, we know that Black people have a hard time working together. Fine. We know that Black women and Black men have certain issues. Cool. We get that. But we have to be the people that say, if we can get things going in this way, and sometimes it's being so smart to say, you know what, I might not be able to unite people under an entertainment show or business show, but I might be able to unite them through music. I might be able to unite them through acting. I might be able to unite them through something else, right? There's so many different ways that you can bring people together without them even knowing you're doing it. So we got to really and to monetize it. Like, let me just say this. Yeah, I hate to do this, right? But I'm gonna be honest. I use the Sunday Rumble to a certain degree and some of my fuckery to monetize some of the things I'm doing now. You know what I mean? If you niggas want to come in and argue all the time and yell, and back in the day, right? I don't really do it as much anymore. Cool. It's entertainment, right? Entertainment money. I'll be getting the bag on that. And guess what? I'm shipping my shit over here and we're doing something different and we'll do a business stuff. So you got to be able to unite people to do. And that's just thinking about it out loud. I tell niggas all the time, yep, I'm doing this in the Rumble. You need to give me all your money. And they do. You know what I mean? And I take that money. I'll buy, like we have the Negro Manosphere Award. I'm going to use that Sunday to buy that shit. That's just what it is, right? You have to be able to understand how you can deal with people, your own or others, get what you need to do other stuff. That's called being smart. And we have that ability to do it. So, we got to just really start, thinking about how to solve the issues instead of always complaining about it. Because I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Nobody wants to hear about why you can't do things. Not black women, not white people. You can be right for all your complaints. But nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that, bro. So we got to understand that we got opportunities. Let's go out there and just grab them. And, so what if they're not, let me tell you one thing, right, Brother Gabe and Brother Pat. I always hear, man, we don't have what white people have. Then what we got with this, we don't have that. We don't have. That's another thing, too. Stop being mad that you don't have what white folks have. I understand what happens, but if you keep dwelling on that, then you're never going to get nowhere. Just be glad for what you have. If you appreciate what you have, and it will grow. Stop looking at what other folks have and that you don't have. You're going to be very frustrated.
All right, see, and I think it's another thing too, like just this quickly. I think that a lot of times there are groups in this space that complain about what certain organizations do and don't do. Like black men can't get into STEM. These tech companies don't even recruit black people. But like O'Shea, like we were talking offline, and there are opportunities that I was able to get, like even now, right? For a big tech company happening right now. But like brothers will talk about saying that, hey, there are no brothers coming in here, and there are no opportunities. If you have the skill, if you have the ability, make a way rather than complaining about there not being a way. Make yourself unable for a company to pass you up, rather than talking about how companies pass people up. So that's just my 2 cents on that. The solution.
Yep. Yeah, you have to not complain. I know I applied for like 500 to 600 jobs the last couple of months to get another adjunct faculty job, and I eventually got it. And along the way of getting the other school to teach for, I was on Indeed, and I got a job to rewrite the courses for a university. It's not due till August, but it's only 8 modules. Hell, I'm on number 4 already. And I already talked to the lady and said, hey, I'm probably going to have this done by the 1st of July. She said, we're looking for people to rewrite more of them because you're a subject matter expert. Did a Zoom conference. They sent me the contract. I did what I had to do. So you have to get out there and seek it. And I think that's a complete lie. There are brothers getting opportunities. A lot of brothers, once they don't get it at initially, they quit. And they say, man, ain't nothing out here, man. The system against us. It's going to take you to apply sometimes to 60, 70 jobs just to get one answer back. The same way you approach 25 females and get 2 numbers, and out of those 2 females, only 1 act right, that's how you got to apply. I said, we will put all that energy to get some chicks to get numbers that's probably fake anyway. And then when it comes down to improving your life, you don't want to move forward. You just have to be aggressive. People want to hire black men. People want to hire us. There are people out there with the hand out, like, I want to give this opportunity to y'all. Do y'all know any people? And their job always seeking us. We just got to get out there and find it. I get on Indeed. I'm looking at stuff now while we were talking. I like these shows too because it makes me go and think about other stuff. Brother Gabe was talking about speaking. I'm like, well, let me see what else I can do. The Toastmasters and all the other stuff. It makes your mind think about stuff. And before you go to sleep, I always think about some of the stuff we talked about, or when I'm riding down the road, I'm like, I remember what such and such said. It's to me, this is like a brainstorming session to propel you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a meeting of the minds to think of other stuff, because somebody will say something on the panel, like O'Shea was saying, and like, man, I need to really get my shit together. You know what? Let me spend one more hour or two trying to work this out and then take my butt to bed. But these panels are good brainstorming sessions. Everybody that comes on it, like we were on brother Antoine Wade, Gabe and I yesterday. Antoine Wade was asking people, how often do you update your resume? You know what I went and did? I sent him a connection.
Yep.
I update my resume monthly. Anything I do, and I put on there. But Antoine Wade was like, any accomplishments you have, and I'm like, man, let me think about stuff I've done at work. He said you need to list it on your LinkedIn profile. So stuff like that made me pull out my resume while he was talking and said, let me scan through my resume again to make sure I have everything listed on here.
And even prime example, like with these panels, Dr. D is a doctor, right? I'm working on my master's right now. He talks about these remote adjunct professor roles. And that's something that I can definitely get into. I didn't even know that they existed in that type of frequency. So, we just are learning from each other and really scooping up game as we're even on the.
Yeah. That I was thinking about the real estate you were talking about, that building up there for $2,500. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, we were talking about that. I mean, that's an open, it's that building. If I was able to get on a plane and come out there and look at it, it's things like that. Gabe is talking about real estate. O'Shea was talking about the camera stuff, and I'm like, man, I might have to do a channel or something eventually and ask O'Shea, man, what kind of software? Like O'Shea will say some of the stuff he's never done. This is his first time playing around with it. I need to learn how to play around with this stuff too. It's things like this that say this can open my life up more, and this is why I like these panels.
And I think a lot of times brothers they complain, but they don't try. They complain, but they don't try. Just like you were mentioning, Dr. D, but like we need to be aggressive with seeking out the opportunities that are out there rather than complaining about there not being opportunities out there. I'm sorry, O'Shea. I know you're trying to get in.
No. Go ahead. Use the building.
No, that was it.
The last thing I'll say, don't be afraid to fail, brothers, because if you get knocked off once, just continue to go. If you get 50 no's, somebody gonna tell you a yes eventually. Y'all do the same things with Lolo Keisha. Well, eventually somebody gonna let me hit. I mean, just keep moving forward. Eventually, a chick gonna give you the number and you're gonna smash. You got to look at life like that. You are going to be a yes. I was looking at the documentary of the Bowden dynasty of Bobby Bowden from Florida State University, and it showed how he was taking losing teams, and he said, man, I don't care about race right now. He said, I don't care. The players can play. He was going to schools with crappy records. I don't know if anybody gets to look at it. Before he came to Florida State University, this school used to just get the shit beat out of him.
Oh yeah, Bobby Bowden.
Yep. Little by little, from the 80s, he built it into a national powerhouse because they asked him, you want to go to this school to where people put them pretty much on for homecoming and beat the shit out of them? He was like, I got 4 kids to feed, and I don't see anything wrong with it. Little by little, he built it into a powerhouse. And, there was always playing Florida and Miami. And he was talking about, how they had to recruit. So it's just like that, taking something from the ground up and building it. Now, when you think of Florida State University, he is the first person you think about, Bobby Bowden.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And he took it to a powerhouse. So, so let me just, say that a lot of times as brothers, there's a lot of opportunities. Like, even coming here, my people are like, wait, why are you going there? Why Uganda? And it took me 8 different times to come. But you know what? It's panning out, right? It's opportunities all over, wherever you're at. Cleveland, Detroit, Africa. I mean, there are people here that make it everywhere. So, a lot of brothers just need to, like I said, we learn from each other. And then what we try to do, what's the main thing that we try to do as successful Black men? If you're the only successful Black man in your family, then you create the extended family. Your extended family becomes your community. I talk about this all the time. This is like my extended family, right? And what I try to do is my contacts and connections that I have, I bring my connections to the table as I'm going out seeking opportunities, and I'll pass them to Gabe or Dr. D or Antoine Wade, our resources back to the platform. and people do the same thing with me, and I keep doing the same thing. So, as you create communities as successful Black men, we got to understand that one of the best ways that you can do it is online, right? Because sometimes you might not be able to do things, but you can be a part of successful communities. That's why you have positive groups, like not mine's on Facebook, right? But I am at one point going to create one of the largest Black male business groups that will ever be seen. I'm not going to do it probably this year, but I will do it sometime next year. And then when I do that, that's just creating a resource, right? And there's even a Black YouTubers group where people that are Black YouTubers that create, man, that's a great idea. And there's just so many people you can work with, so many people you can collaborate with, so many people you can do things with. And, you are your network. I wouldn't even be in this business if I didn't have, that network or any network. So, that's what is your responsibility as a successful Black man, because you have to remember those people who are billionaires and millionaires, they got really good networks, right? They know people that can make things happen for them. They have them on their phone. They know people that can do things. So we want to be able to do that. And the only way you can do it is you got to be seen. You got to be heard. So I'll just rest on that. And, if you guys have any last words, and we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't have anything else left to say, but the whole idea that it's not a bad thing that you are the first successful brother in your family, even if people might make you out to be a bad guy. I think it's an opportunity for you to show the capabilities of Black men in this society to your family and really to the world. So, I think look at it more as an opportunity than something that's a bad thing. You don't have to take care of everybody. You don't have to slip them $10 bills to Uncle Freddie. You don't have to do none of that. But one thing that you do have to do is that you have to make a positive change everywhere that you go. So I'll just leave off with that.
All right. Any other things you want to talk about, Dr. D?
No, I'm good. Everybody just don't give up, don't quit, and keep moving forward. You will get to your destination.
All right. And again, I appreciate everybody in the building. Damn, wait a minute. Somebody got hit. So shout out to Taz. So guys, I'll see you brothers in a minute. Tomorrow we'll have a good show. Shout out to Dr. Davis Topic. And yeah, man, keep, I have the Thirst box coming, but tomorrow. Thirst box will come tomorrow. So peace out. Peace out, everybody. See you guys. Thanks again, Doc and Gabe, and we'll be seeing you guys later.
All right.
Thanks for having me. All right.
All right, peace.